just didn't work out for me. So I'm gonna try this one more time. I wanted to go live because I was setting up like my goals for the week, the rest of the month. And I realized and thought about how I do so many things really differently. And then right now I am a full-time artist, and I think something that is a big change if you are somebody who has had like a structured routine when it comes to work, like the typical 9 to 5s, and someone else kind of telling you what you need to do. It's a very big change when you go from that to kind of running your own business or doing your own thing. And even if you're not running your own business, whatever, just like managing your life in some sort of way, especially if somebody who has like ADHD or something, being an ADHD filmmaker is like a whole nother level, because that is like a complete just, I'm basically an entrepreneur. Like, I'm a creative, but also forced to be an entrepreneur, and that's really tough because I just want to be creative. But I've found some things that work for me, so I thought maybe I share them right before I get to work, and if it's helpful to anybody else, then great. And if not, if you have your own ways, do what you do. Some of my things you've probably heard before, some things you've never heard, and yeah, I just want to be able to like kind of help people reframe or think about a different way of doing something. So the first thing that I do when I'm trying to set my goals and trying to be successful with something is I'm gonna write down everything going on in my mind. Everything. And I have a bunch of journals just like this one. I didn't like this one. It's like little moon and sun. It kind of, I feel like, defines my personality. And I think on that note, like, I think it's really important for adults to remember to have fun. And so make sure, you're getting stuff that like still is kind of like when you're a child, where you just pick your favorite notebook or whatever. Like, try not to make things be so serious, because I think that the more you can kind of play with your life, the more goal setting and adulting feels still like something like attainable or fun to do. And then, I have this cute little picture of my Nana in my journal that keeps me like positive, and, just like motivated to reach my goals, because she believed in me a lot. So it's cute. It's a cool little thing that I keep there just to keep me going or whatever. But so one of them, write down everything you have in mind, right? So get you a little journal, write your goals, first of all, start with everything that you have for the day. Just try to get everything out of the way that you have for the day. Then write down the rest of your week and just get everything out of your mind, right? So I would separate, and I always like have these little lists. I got this like little thing at this GLAD, Black Queer Creative Summit. And they have a bunch of little posties or whatever. And you're just gonna write down like every goal. You gotta get it out of your head. If it's in your, oh shit, look at this. My stuff fell over. But if you have a lot going on in your head, you're not going to be able to execute a thing. So that's one of the first things that you have to make sure that you're gonna take care of. Hello to the three people watching this. And this is just like, I'm not saying this stuff to just like made up. It's kind of the science, at least for me, is like, if things are in my head, I'm not productive. And I don't know if anybody else feels that way too, but things being in your head, you're not productive. The second thing is like, follow your flow, follow your instincts, follow your fun. Something we're like trained to do in school that's really messed up is like, you have to focus on this thing, then you have to focus on this thing. You do your math thing first, you do your warm-ups, you do the blah, blah, blah. I think if you're somebody who has like a non-traditional thinking or processing, I think it's really important to just follow your inspiration first. That's the first thing you do. So if you look at that to-do list, what is the thing that's gonna really get you going? Like the funnest or most interesting thing that you have to do. Or sometimes if there's none of that on your list, it's more of like, let me just turn my music down a little bit. Sometimes it's more so like, what is the easiest thing to do? Like if you just gotta call and make an appointment or something for something, maybe do that. And then what I like to do is like, I'll do that on a walk. So it's like, I know I have to call a bunch of people, I'll go take a walk, which that's gonna be like come later is the exercise piece, but I'll get a bunch of things done, like reach back out to people, things that I've probably neglected before through that process, right? So two, follow your flow, follow your fun. Do not try to make yourself do this whole structured routine and practice and, oh, this is the most important thing, I have to get it done right away. You're gonna get it done eventually, but you have to kind of get yourself going and get that, like, that motivation, that excitement to take care of your tasks. The third one is like, don't be afraid to pivot. So for me as a creative, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I've been working on this shot list or whatever for a little bit and I'm putting them together, but it's getting a little tedious. Maybe I'm just not inspired the same way. I will completely pivot, and if I have an idea, like if I'm, let's say I'm making a shot list, right? Which, if you're not a filmmaker, basically you have your movie, you put the different shots together, and then you write what shots you're gonna do. Ricky Ricks, I love marijuana. What about yourself? I mean, yeah, it's cool, I guess. People, it's. I'm not really a smoker anymore, but I get it. It's chill. And it can help you depending on the person, I think. It just depends. I think the third thing is, don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to reset. So if I'm working too much and I feel like I'm just losing that momentum, I'll just take a rest break, or I'll just, put it away or whatever. Don't feel like you have to stick to the routine. I think the biggest piece of what I'm trying to say is, like, don't feel you need to stick to routine. Your brain works differently. Your inspiration, the things you want to do work differently. And there's no reason why you can't play still as an adult. And you're going to get things done, but you have to keep yourself kind of moving and kind of motivated, whatever. So I think one of the biggest lessons I learned is, like, I do not have to stay doing one specific thing. I can always move around. And as I'm touching these different things, I'm getting a lot of different things done. So I know, like, some people feel like, oh, having too many tabs overwhelms you a little bit. I have a little bit of tabs going on right now, but they're all necessary tabs. And actually I use the tabs to remind myself to stay, like, on top of something. So I won't close a tab until I'm done. I just started making beats and I realized I have to walk away occasionally. Yeah, even, that's a good point, Ricky. Like, even stuff that you like to do, you'll find yourself kind of like, okay, I'm kind of hitting like a bump here. Like, my inspiration is not as tight or whatever is going on, I would just walk away, because the thing about it is, like, even with making music, you're gonna find inspiration in the world. And I think that's one of the biggest things as a creative, as somebody who's neurodivergent or whatever, you gotta get in the world, you gotta find inspiration. This channel is just, I'm a filmmaker. If you guys go on my page, you'll see, like, my most recent film is called Pink Ounces. Just released it like 2 weeks ago. And I'm just gonna be talking about my journey as a filmmaker. I'm trying to be one of the next great filmmakers of this generation, and that's what I'm working towards. And so I just kind of want to talk about my journey and also give people filmmaking tips, give people tips on how I found some success. Like, I have some cool movies coming out soon, and so I just figured it would be interesting for people to see the journey, because I think people always see, like, the end point and, like, oh, this is what this looks like, or this is how this person created this, but they don't really see the journey, the ups and downs. So I'm just making myself more of an open book so people can know about who I am and why I tell the stories I tell. I tell a lot of stories about underdogs, about women, about queer people, about anybody who just is not, like, part of dominant society, but has a story to kind of tell. I'm trying to uplift those type of stories. So as soon as I get off work, I open the app and try to come up with something, but I realized I was forcing, that's the worst feeling. Like, you just can't force it. And there's some times where, for me, like, because I also write my own scripts a lot, and I will sit there and have nothing in my head, and I'll have to go and find something. And so that's actually one of one of the things that helps me. The next thing was exercise, actually. And I wouldn't say you don't have to love it to do this, but for me, like, you have to get out of your head somehow. I get out of my head by going on long walks. The longer the walk, the better the ideas come to me. One, I'm getting out in the sun. And I know everybody doesn't live, like, in sunny states. I live in a very sunny state. So I know that's not the same for everybody, but I'm originally from Seattle, so it was hard for me to go walk out. And that was like, I think moving from that place where there's so much rain and I can't walk and get in nature has actually significantly benefited my mental health. So I don't know, maybe if you're somebody who needs to get in nature, you just gotta kind of move or whatever. But sorry. But yeah, like exercise just to get out of your head and get out of your body. I always say, like, when I'm overthinking, get out of my head, get into my body. If I'm stuck, if I don't have a solution to something, get out of my head, get into my body. That's literally the key. And you kind of have to be okay with the fact that you're stepping away from whatever you're working on. I have a few scripts in my head, but I have the slightest clue how to put together. Okay, dope. I'm so glad you just said that, because literally I'm gonna make an entire series on how to come up with your ideas for your stories, how to execute those ideas, how to get it from script to actual film. Like, let me see if I can find any of my just to show you guys some stills from some of my films. So I just recently dropped a few, but there's some that I'm like, I have some faves that are like I'm really proud of or whatever. But I'm gonna do a whole series on that. Like, I realized, so I went to film school. I got my MFA in directing, but I'm also a writer. I've done a lot of years of writing, and for me, I realize I have a lot of technical knowledge. Oh, this is my film right here. You can't really see it that well in this background. But I realize I have a lot of technical knowledge that I can share with other people. That, my school was $200,000 completely. I got a full ride, so I didn't have to pay any of that. And I really feel very blessed that I was gifted that. So I want to be able to give that information back to other people and just give it to y'all for free, because y'all don't need to freaking go to film school just to find out all this stuff. It's simple once you get it, but it's still hard at the same time. Like, I think writing is just really hard. But I'll definitely share how, if you want to give me specific questions on like anything you're stuck on or whatever, like, yo, I have, this idea, but this is where I'm getting stuck. Because if it's like, how do I actually write it on a screenplay format? That's one, thing, which I'm going to cover that. Then I'm going to cover characters, I'm going to cover story, and, all the things that go into a story and everything else. So, yeah, so number 5 would be a little bit of reading and some sort of spiritual mental prep. I think anybody who has like any kind of neurodivergent thinking, you're gonna need something to ground you mentally. For me, I'm gonna revisit this book, The Creative Act, A Way of Being, because I really like how Rick Rubin, he blends like spiritual with creativity, and I think they go hand in hand. If you ever take an acting class or anything like that, you'll learn how much you're getting actually in touch with yourself through that process. All I have is ideas. I talked to a book publisher before with one of my ideas, but the process was so overwhelming. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's such a long process too, depending on what you're trying to do, right? Like, if you're trying to do a Game of Thrones level thing, that's going to be a little bit longer. I will say right now, like, I suggest starting small, like starting with your simple ideas of like, what is like a 2-person story that you could tell? What is like 2 people you can get together, 2 actors you can get together, or 2 characters that you could just put in a room. And let's say you're setting up a breakup scene, right? 2 people at a dinner table, what's happening? Kind of starting with like little small stuff like that, just so that you could practice building worlds, and your ideas feel more tangible in that way. But yeah, so like this book, I'm going to be reading this. I think I might do a series on this as well, like how this is just affecting me specifically as a filmmaker. I still have like a lot of goals that I'm trying to reach. And so I think what I want to do is be able to share what I've achieved so far, which is like I said, I was able to get a full ride to a top film school in the country. I've had little opportunities to screen some of my films at like the biggest film agencies and things like that. So I've had some success, but there's also still some goals I haven't met. I've gotten into a lot of festivals, but I actually have never put myself in a festival to try to win best director or best writing or anything like that. So I'm trying to go for that now. I'm trying to kind of like keep lifting my goals and stuff. And so I think it'd be cool to like share that journey, because I've hit the goals that I wanted in the past, and now I'm working towards the next one. So I want to show everybody else it's very attainable and kind of show like my process. I think somebody who really motivates me with that is like Doechii. She showed her whole process of her becoming a rapper and becoming successful, like through YouTube. And so I was like, oh, that's really cool. I want to see what that looks like as an emerging filmmaker. Yeah, character development. Yeah, that's where I get lost. Yeah. I got you. I'm literally gonna make a video literally about character development. That's what I was thinking about yesterday. It's like, how do you make fully realized characters? And I do mine differently. Like everybody, like there's like ways to do it, but I don't think I do things like everybody else. And I think that's kind of why I wanted to also talk and share my process, because I think sometimes when you take a class or something, it gets really overwhelming if you don't think like everyone else. And I think for me, I just have my own way and it's been successful for me. So I'm gonna definitely share how my characters get developed, because for me, it's like I am getting lost in my imagination a little bit, and then learning to just, how do you make that more structured, or how do you recognize the things you already have, and then how do you mold them into being something that other people can take in. And I have a lot of wacky, crazy characters in my film. Like that's what I like to do. I like to have really different type of characters that you just don't often see. So yeah, so those are like the 5 things that I have down. I'll just like say them out loud one more time, just so like folks can kind of like hear it out. And obviously, you know, review the video, and if any of this works for you, then shoot, I did my job. And if it was things you already knew, then great. And if you want to keep, you know, watching for the series on how to like create your own characters, how to write screenplays, how to direct actors, like a lot of that stuff, I'm totally down to share that information too. So yeah, first one, write down everything you gotta do. Oh, you're making your question? Okay, I'll wait. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll wait. I'll just share these while you're writing your question. Thanks for asking. Dope. Thanks for the subscription. Yeah, so basically, first, get everything down that you have in mind. Write it down, get it out of your head. First thing. 2, follow your flow, follow your fun. Like last year, my whole motto was like, follow your joy. And that was a great year for me. Like I just did things that I really loved and enjoyed. So even when I had to do hard things, it was still in service of things that I really wanted to do. And that kind of led me to a lot of cool opportunities. I've been able to get into a lot of really cool film festivals, been able to speak to people at them, connect with different filmmakers. It's just a really cool journey. So definitely follow your flow, do the thing that you're inspired by first, and then you can work your way to all your responsibilities. I promise the list will get smaller and smaller before you know it. 3, write your to-dos, get them out. Don't be afraid to pivot, not write your to-dos. I already said that. Don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to reset. Don't be afraid to rest. Sometimes I will literally only do like a 3-hour day. Like I will do as much as I can. Like the other day I was editing this documentary piece, and it was taking a lot out of me. So I edited a good amount, and then I was done. Okay, here's the question. Okay, wait, I'm gonna finish the last 2 and then I'll answer your question. 4th, exercise, get out of your head, get into your body. Even if it's 30 minutes a day, just get yourself free mentally. And I strongly suggest going outside to do that. I strongly suggest, because there's just something about being in nature that kind of can get your creative juices going or release things. And then lastly, some sort of prep, mental, spiritual, whatever. Get some sort of learning in your head because it'll start helping you make connections. Okay. All right, Fish. How do you, I'm gonna balance. Okay. How do you balance the chaotic, high pressure energy of a live shoot with the slow, meticulous focus needed for post production editing? Interesting. Let me read this again. How do you balance the chaotic, high pressure energy of a live shoot? Okay. Focus needed for post production. Yes. Okay. That's a great question. Every director is very different. For me, you're good. You're good. I think I got the question right. So if I'm saying the wrong thing, just you can just redirect me. But I think every director's different. For me personally, I am a very calm person by nature. And I think that's something that helps me be a director. So I started out as a teacher, and I was a ninth grade teacher in Oakland. So I was learning, and I did that when I was like 24 years old. So I was learning how to manage patients, how to talk to people. Like there are certain skills I believe that you have to gain to be a strong director. And if you don't have those skills yet, there's ways you can develop yourself. For me, I kind of just happened to get those skills through one, naturally, just literally my personality has always been to stay calm. I think my mom is just a very calm person too. My parents, they're very chill, laid back. So I don't get too stressed. Then I taught ninth grade when I was really young. So ninth graders are wild, you know, and I had to keep my composure. My first 2 years, I didn't. I was giving it back to them. I'm like, oh, you don't want to come with that energy. After a while, I was more kind of realizing that nothing moves if the leader is chaotic. So as a leader, you have to keep yourself, especially the director, everyone's looking to you to make every decision. So it doesn't matter what happens, you have to keep yourself in a good state of mind. And there are chaotic things that happen. For me, what I do is I pull one person from set every time. I've never been on set where this hasn't happened. I pull one person that I trust the most, the person I'm closest to, who knows me, who knows what I want to do. I pull them aside outside and I ask them to let me vent just to get it out. It's not to fix anything. I have to come up with those solutions and everything, but I always have one trusted person that I pull aside, and that could be anybody on your team, literally. It could be your DP, it could be your producer, it could be don't ever pull your actors out. That's a terrible idea. You don't want to stress them out, but somebody who you trust, who's on your crew, who can just get you through that. And then you make your decisions in that calm state. And that'll help you with your post-production editing because the work that you have is gonna still be what you planned. Like stick to your plan. If you have your shot list, you should have had your shot list. Your team should have already talked with you. You guys know what you're doing together. So also you don't have to carry that by yourself. You have a team of people and you gotta be smart about who you pick on your team. Go ahead, ask me. You gotta be smart about who you pick on your team. So like for me, I've had times where like actors, family members would die in like the day before the set. And then we had to change our whole way that we were going to shoot the story because they can't be on set anymore. And so we had to refigure out how the story was going to go within 30 minutes to an hour. And for me, I had to stay calm. The best thing I think I did is I knew my story through and through. And because of that, I knew how it could change. And I was able to communicate that to my team. So it's a lot of prep, a lot of communication. These are great life lessons. Like, I mean, every set is different and you learn something about yourself every time, like your leadership style and just who you want to be. So, yeah, no, that's a really good question. And your editor will be grateful that you didn't crash out and go off course too much. But also don't be afraid to go off course. Like I said, like if things change and you just kind of got to flow with it. I have had also people who are like yelling on set and getting a little crazy, and you also have to sit there and pull people aside and have conversations and like, are you good? You know, like we want to keep it a certain way on set and everything. So I would consider myself a gentle demander, whereas like I do say exactly what I expect and want on set when I'm directing. But I do it in like a nice, respectful way. Like I try not to like get upset with people or anything like that. And like I said, when I get upset, I just walk out. Like my mom was my hair and makeup once, and she made me really mad. And I was like, this is my mom, but she's making me mad. So I just like step out, you know, and just take a little breather. And I mean, we're used to it. She's my mom, so, but it happens. What's the difference between a film director and film producer? Okay, a film director is in charge of like the creative vision, like how the entire creative everything gets executed. They are the creative vision. They are driving the ship for all of that. So they are the ones who are reading that script. Either they wrote the script or they read the script and they're interpreting it through their eyes. And they are the ones who are making everything clear to everybody. Usually they pick their creative team, right? So the DP and the director of photography who's gonna shoot it and everything. You know, the editor, the production designer, like they find people who work with the style that they're trying to do. The producer is not necessarily doing the creative stuff. They do have like a voice in it. Like if we're reading the script and they have ideas, they'll give you feedback on it or whatever, but they're really making sure it happens. They're like the project manager, basically. It's like, we need locations. We need a budget. We need to know when we're gonna shoot this thing. We need the dates scheduled. We need to set up meetings. Like that's what a film producer would do. Oh, also they have to get the money for the film. Like they're just kind of more like of the logistical management of the film versus the director who has like the more creative stuff. And sometimes those things blend. How they handle the shifts between the high adrenaline chaos of production and the slow isolated focus Oh, are you asking me that again? Or did I not answer it? Fish? Ricky, I hope I answered your question. Like yeah. That's the difference between the director and the producer. And yeah, I will say, like, if you have a hard time dealing with a little bit of chaos and all that stuff, then maybe don't be the director. Because, I mean, there's so many roles that you can be on set. And it's a lot. Like, it is a lot. And it's your adrenaline, that's what I love about it, though. But I'm a former athlete. Like, I used to play basketball. So what I love about it is that it is an adrenaline rush. It's like everybody's talking to you. Everybody needs you. Everybody's like, yo, okay, what's the next shot? Okay, the actors are right here. Okay, we need hair and makeup right here. Da-da-da. It's like, it's so many people talking to you. It's so overwhelming. It's like not a normal human experience, I don't think. I don't think any human was just meant to be like talked to that much like that. In the same breath, for me, as somebody who grew up playing basketball, it gives me that same sense of like, I love it because I'm just in it, you know? And in some ways you have to kind of you have to kind of let go. It's like a very spiritual experience, at least for me. It's like I let go of I know my story so well that I'm in the moment and I'm just flowing. I'm like, okay, actors here, you're doing this, blah, blah, blah. Like you just kind of just direct like a symphony. How often do producers and directors clash? Ooh. It depends, but I've seen it a lot. A lot of clashing, a lot. Because sometimes you guys have different goals. I mean, if it's a good partnership, you guys have the same goal. But even then, that doesn't mean that you guys have the same conclusions to those goals. So producer, you know, they're managing the money and all these different things, and the director's trying to make this big vision come to life, right? So if I'm like, yo, we got a boat scene, I want them out on the river, I want the sun behind us, and we want a bunch of extras around them going crazy as they kiss. It's like, that's the director. They're sitting here like, yeah, this, da, 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 like just all in their world. And then the producer's like, yo, we only have $200 left. We have to feed everybody. We still haven't paid this thing. The lens for this scene is gonna require da da da. We can't afford the boat. Like, where else can this scene take place? And then sometimes you see stuff like that where people are clashing. Now, this is like people who are leading with their egos in an unhealthy way, in my opinion. When you're not leading with the ego in an unhealthy way, you, at least to me, the director, most of the time should be able to pivot. Maybe this isn't shot with this grand thing. Maybe there's a world where this story is interesting without all the extras. Maybe it's more intimate with them sitting at the dock, at the end of the dock, instead of sitting in the boat, you know, with all the people. Maybe there's something more intimate there. I think that's what a good director would do. But then sometimes also, like, on the director's defense, like sometimes there's producers who are not even trying to make something happen. So you're like, oh, I want to shoot this here, I want to do this, and they're like, oh, we can't because of this. And it's like, but did you try? Did you talk to the owner? Did you do your thing? A good producer's gonna go try and make it happen. Like, I have a good producer who never really tells me no. It's just like, yo, I'm gonna try, and if it's too hard, if it doesn't work, then we won't do it. And that's cool too. Yeah, I hope that's answering that. Is the director supposed to make the best of what the producer provides? Yes, and the producer should be trying to make what the director want happen, because in the other instance, if you have a good director and they can make this movie be amazing, why wouldn't you go out of your way? I've produced stuff too, so I feel like if you see the vision, go try to make it happen. Dream big, but if you get stuck, then maybe there's a different story that you can make. Kind of sounds like the director and the coach and the producer is the GM. Yes, that's literally what it is. It is. And then that's when it gets confusing too, because technically it's the producer gets to, like, at least in like the big business, like it's the producer's thing, you know? And sometimes directors, if you're really good, you can be like, yo, pushing back a lot, but you can also get fired. So now, if you're doing your own project, like I do my own project, so I'm technically the producer and the director a lot of the times, even if I bring a producer on. And so I'm still kind of deciding the final things, but how do you force yourself to the border repetitive administration path of those productions when your brain's starved from stimulation? What do you mean by that? How do you force yourself to the border? I'm assuming you're I'm assuming your spell check thing interrupted something. Cause I don't think my brain's ever starved from stimulate. Oh, like when I'm overstimulated on set or something. Yeah. Yeah, Ricky. Yeah. I don't know what you're saying, fish. My bad. I love to answer the question. You just may have to word it a little differently. Cause I'm like, yeah, like if this is a question about being starved from stimulation, I don't think I'm ever starved from stimulation on set. Oh, simulation? Whoa. Like Matrix? I have to get off in like 8 minutes, so if anybody has any other questions about filmmaking, I guess this started more of like trying to set your professional goals with somebody who may have like some kind of neurodivergent, processing. But I'm happy to answer any filmmaking questions. Like I said, I'm gonna do a bunch of series on like how to make a film, how to develop characters, just anything you would want to know. Feel free to comment on this video if you're watching it later, and I will answer every question I can about filmmaking that I know so far, as somebody who's been doing it for, I guess, 8 years now. So I'm coming up on a decade. Still have a lot in me. I would say I took it more serious though, like over the past 3-4 years. And after I took it more serious, I got a lot more out of it. So it is something, it's like a full, you either in it or you're not kind of thing. Or you could just do it for fun and just make movies for fun. There's a lot of people who do that and get a lot out of that. So it's fun to make a movie. Like, get your friends together and make something. It's super fun. I think Red Bull should sponsor this talk about being a filmmaker. I kind of like to ask questions live, but for content person. Oh yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I have about 7 more minutes, so shoot away. If you do have a specific thing that you're just like, yeah, I really want to know that, I'm happy to answer those as well. Whoa. Before I hop in this meeting, that's another thing. Oh my God. If you think you have a lot of meetings in like other settings, there's a lot of meetings in filmmaking if you're trying to do it right, because you're supposed to be meeting with people to be on the same page all the time. And I will say, as a director, you have to make sure everybody is literally on the same page. And that is a lot of work. That is a lot of work. W emergency services. What does that mean? Sorry, I'm a millennial. I don't know. I don't be knowing stuff. If that's like a thing I should know. But yeah, y'all. I mean, I will say, while there's a lot of work, it's a lot of fun. Oh, the sirens. Oh yeah, they're super loud. It's downtown, so it's loud over here a lot. That's another thing I would suggest folks trying to find peaceful spaces. That's why I kind of have my little music on. I like to listen to this. It depends on what I'm doing, but this little dark academia playlist, something about it. I write to this one a lot. No, y'all asked really good questions, honestly. Like I didn't expect, and that's another thing. Like I don't know what other people don't know. I just know what I do know, and so I'm curious to like find out what people want to know, and then like I'll answer whatever question you have. I'm literally an open book. If I have the answer, yeah. So the producer hires the director. Yeah, most of the time, yeah, that's how it works. The producer hires the director. So it's like produced by whatever. Now, obviously, there's different situations, right? Because for me, I'm an independent filmmaker, so I'm gonna start my own projects. Like recently, I shot something a couple weeks ago. It was me who's technically the producer because I'm paying the food and the lenses and the da-da-da and all the stuff. And then it's my project and I own it. Like it is the director's project. But it just depends on how it started, I guess, if that makes sense. Like some bigger directors like a Ryan Coogler, like he's a producer of Sinners as well. So it's like he can't get fired because it's his story and his stuff. If you get a blooper, do you keep it in or no? Depends. So I do a comedy web series called Shitty Girls. And with that one, like we kept in like some improv that we didn't plan. But I wouldn't keep in a blooper. I would put it at the end though. That's funny. I love bloopers. I love them. Paramount, exactly. So if Paramount is the production and they go hire a director, exactly. Like if Paramount, so for example, like if they get a script that they buy, because they have to buy a script from a writer. So it all starts with the script. Paramount is looking for projects at all times, basically, to like develop. So they find a writer, they find some project. Maybe a director comes to them with the script. Maybe it's a writer, whatever the case may be. They're constantly looking for what they can produce. That's what those big networks or studios are doing. Independent's a little bit different, but like that's what's happening, right? And then they would say, who do we attach as a director to this project? And then once the director is attached, now we're going down to find all the artistic people to match the story that the director who's picking their team essentially. Yeah, so they would have to buy the script. Like they don't write them themselves. And then obviously talent agencies have the talent. So they will have writers and their writers will go pitch to Paramount or whatever the case may be with the producer. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, like it just depends, because then independent is a little bit different because you're not going to a studio to do it. You're trying to go find other funders or people, or sometimes they partner with each other or something. So it really just depends on the situation. But yeah, if Paramount is doing something, they're going to hire the director for sure. If you're like a producer and you want to make a movie, like independent producer, you're like, I want to go make a movie, you would need to find somebody who has a script. So they would have to buy the script from somebody, or they would work with them as a partner. And then they're like, we're doing this together. And their goal is to kind of try to find funding to make the film happen. Or they have their own idea and they want to make it happen. They build a team, they get a director and a writer and all that stuff. That's also what happens. Yeah. Yeah, so you have to buy scripts unless you can write them yourself, which is hard. And that's why people don't do it all the time. Writers are very special because it's hard. I write my own stuff a lot and it's really hard. Yeah, there is a partnership. Yep, that's literally, I think that's independent filmmaking all the way. It's usually a partnership. It's usually a producer, writer, director, whoever getting partnered up with each other. Even the DP sometimes, like no one really getting money, really finding the money. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just like, I'll have a partner. Like I'm working on a few things right now, but with one of them, with a short film I'm working on called Spring Fling, it's like, we're going out and we're trying to find investors, we're trying to find people to attach, and you know, we're producing and directing it, but we found writers and we had the writers write it. So we're all kind of working together. We don't expect to get paid for the work we're doing right now. We expect to try to get our movie out there, and then that comes later. So if you have a partnership and your partner takes all the credit and says you did nothing, do you still get any money for being on the film? That's a really messed up situation. I would sign a contract. Yeah, you should definitely sign a contract. I mean, if you think that there's somebody who you're working with who would try to take all the credit, I wouldn't work with that person. So that's why you got to work with people you trust. And then there's nothing wrong with at the beginning of the work, when you guys are working, just sign a working, it's called a, oh shoot, it's like a working agreement. I can't remember the name, but you can Google it, but it's just like a joint working agreement. You guys all just agreeing that you're working together to make the thing. And you guys could talk about what percentages and all that stuff looks like with each other. And then, yeah, also like you could fight things in court if it gets to that. Ricky says, no, I mean like with Paramount, the writer just gets a one-time payment, or if the movie blows up, they get royalties. Oh, it depends on their contract. So sometimes they hire a writer to write a story. So sometimes they have this, there's like different things. Sometimes they hire a writer to write the story. Then they pay them each time they have to rewrite it. So like they have to keep paying them until it's done. And then it's based on their contract and what they work out with their agent. But essentially, yeah, they can say, okay, I get a percentage of this after. So if you're a good writer and you're successful, yeah, you're making some money. Yep. And then obviously you get credited no matter what. So okay, I have to hop off. It's been dope. I really appreciate you, Ricky Ricks, the fish player. Y'all asked some great questions. If anybody else who's watching has questions, please don't be shy to ask them in the chat. And like I said, I'm going to be starting some different series around like filmmaking, writing, characters, stories, everything. So just stay tuned. Oh, okay. I answered this last question. So Paramount might have an idea and go hire a writer, or a writer might come to them with the idea. Yeah, so usually Paramount doesn't make the ideas themselves. Like there's people working there who are trying to find ideas. Like they do too, like they have people who are like looking, you know, like they're always looking for like books, like good books that just sold, or just like there's people actively always looking for stories and what's the next thing. And so sometimes they'll have like a book, but they need a screenwriter to rewrite it for it, because the book writer is a book writer, you know. Or they'll have a concept that was brought to them. Here's the story. One of the producers will say, okay, this is gonna be a great story, great movie. We need to write it into a screenplay. Then they would go find a writer to hire. Or writers are constantly writing their own stuff, and they have agents, and their agent sends their writing to all these different studios, and somebody who likes it may pick it up, and then they have a conversation from there. So yeah. Dope. All right, y'all. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll probably go live again probably this week. I think I might do it once a week until it becomes more popular, I guess. But like next Sunday for sure, I will be on here. So peace out. I hope everybody has a good day. And yeah, thank you for joining.